my favorite time of year. It's egg season for ball pythons, and I was going through my notes and really reflecting on last year, my first breeding season in the hobby. And I came across really some important lessons that I needed to remind myself of to kind of mentally prepare, but also prepare my operation for the next, really the rest of the year as egg clutches come and we sell and decide what to hold back and what to move on. Today, I thought I would share some of those top lessons. Stick around. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's Adam at Proper Royals. Thank you for joining me today. Man, what a beautiful time of the year. It's the end of March, which means I'm wrapping up kind of my highest, most frequent amount of pairings. We're starting to get some ovulations, and that means that eggs are on their way. I was getting the incubators ready and making sure that I had enough egg boxes and projecting how many clutches I think I would hope to have this year. And I really started going back through my notes and really started thinking about last year's lessons that I learned. I came up with a kind of a list of like 5 really important things that I want to remind myself of as I head into this season. And I thought I would share them with you all today. I want to get your feedback. What am I not remembering? What have I thought that I've learned but that I've forgotten or that I just haven't even experienced yet? So let me know. I want to hear from you all. I'm just excited about this time of year. I want to hear what you guys have going on out there as well in your own breeding projects and in your collections of ball pythons. If we've not met before, this whole channel is about my family's journey from ball python hobbyist to ball python business. We document everything right here. I try and be as transparent as I can. We talk, of course, a lot about ball pythons, but we talk about community, about the business of it, business strategies, YouTube, all that good stuff. We're wide open on those things here. So check it out. Stick around if you haven't seen it before. I'd love to have you hang out and become a subscriber. Links down below to Instagram, our product affiliations, NFT collections. Check it all out, okay? Today we'll focus basically on the snakes themselves. So YouTube strategy and morph market strategy, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. We'll leave that aside mostly. Some of it we'll touch on. But here's the context. Last year I bred 4 females. Only 2 of them went, not 4, only 2. I had a great breeding season otherwise once they did go. This year I've grown drastically. I could have I don't know yet, but I could have up to 13 clutches this year, which is a significant increase. That's going to be tied into some of the lessons today as well. Hey, let me tell you about Nicole Tisdale over at LADYTIS Exotics. She is the newest sponsor to sign on with the Proper Royals Proud Partners program. I'm so thankful for Nicole at LADYTIS Exotics for her support. Now, if you don't know Nicole, she's on YouTube and Instagram for sure. That's the easy part. Go check her out. She's got boas, ball pythons, reticulated pythons, Burmese pythons, Asian water monitor, tegus, and I'm sure there's something else I've forgotten. And she covers all of that on her channel. Super cool. Also on Saturdays, she does a live show called Reptiles and Cocktails. What could be wrong with that on a Saturday afternoon, am I right? So go check out Nicole Tisdale. I'm real pleased to be partnered with LADYTIS Exotics. I'm proud to support a woman in this hobby and a woman of color in this hobby. Thank you for your support, Nicole. So I didn't really put these in any particular order. I don't think I saved the best for last. I think they're all incredibly valuable. So let's get started. My first lesson that I just had to really remind myself and plan for accordingly is feeding hatchlings can be tough. I mean it in a not just whether they eat or not. That's one topic, whether they will eat or not. Sourcing your food for them. So for me, ideally, they'll all take frozen thawed rat pups or rat fuzzies. Not pups, fuzzies. The problem is they don't all take those. And in my experience, very few took them. I know other people have more success with that, So I'm actually interested to learn more about that, and that's one of the things I'm going to be researching and brushing up on, is some techniques on getting the hatchlings straight onto frozen thawed rat fuzzies. When the rat fuzzies don't work, then I would go to mouse hoppers, and I'll tell you, mouse hoppers, they eat those. When I had 2 clutches, 15 hatchlings, and I needed 9 or 10 mouse hoppers, that wasn't that big of a deal to source, except I was trying to source them every 3-4 days, because the hatchlings, you know, you want to get going and get them eating. So I would have to drive to the pet shop or to our local exotic store. They wouldn't always have the feeders, and they wouldn't hold them over the phone for me either. So that posed a real challenge. This year, I've gotten a feeding supplier, local breeder of rats lined up. He and I have worked it out. He might not be able to meet all of my needs, but he's going to meet most of them. So I've hedged that bet a little bit. That was definitely one of the things that I learned. When those didn't work, I'll tell you the other secret was getting an ASF feeder. Whew. I know if you never dealt with ASFs before, like it seems like there's like this cult of the ASFs, you know. African soft fur rodents. If you're not familiar with ASFs, you can Google them otherwise. But African soft furs, man, they will eat those African soft furs. So I would do frozen thawed rat fuzzies first, mouse hoppers, and then go to ASF hoppers, or hopper size. They're very small. That got most of them, but I did have to assist feed a few, almost all of them after the first assist feed. Boom, they were cool. If you're not familiar with assist feed, you can Google that as well, but just know if this is the snake's mouth and this is the rodent, assist feed can be as simple as getting that rodent right there, but sometimes it's as intrusive as having to like really put it down into their throat. It truly is an assist, not a force. There's a whole other videos on that, but that was something that I learned as well. I really didn't think I was going to have to get into that, and I did right out of the gate. I'm happy to say all my snakes lived. I did not cull any animals. I would not, for the record. I won't. Not that are viable. If I have to end a suffering or an animal's not viable, that's a different story. All mine lived. They're all thriving. Even my toughest feeder is now 6 months in. She eats like crazy. Finally. Oh, I'm very happy with that, but feeding hatchlings can be tough. Plan accordingly. My number 2 lesson that I have to remember, or my second lesson that I have to remember, is selling ain't easy. Man, I know. You even hear me talk about it. Look, spoiler alert, I sold all my hatchlings. Sold every one of them. Made money on every one of them. Didn't make as much as I thought I would sometimes, but I sold every one of them that I listed for sale and that I didn't intend to hold back. But it's not easy. I push on Facebook groups. I push on Morph Market. Obviously, my YouTube channel is one of the purposes of this channel is to build my brand so that there's consumer confidence when it does come to selling my animals. But man, if you let your foot off that gas, it's hard. I've since listed some that I've decided not to hold back, or that I'd purchased before, and now plans have changed because I upgraded a lot along the way. And I've started to hit those hurdles again. What I have to remind myself is, of course it's a challenge. If it was easy, everybody would do it. We'd all be millionaire snake breeders. It's not easy, and it takes time, and it takes building community and building trust from your consumers. And I do work very hard at that. I'm gonna see how it goes. 15 hatchlings is way different than a potential 90, 105. We're gonna see how this year goes. I've got a lot of work ahead of me. I think you have to get creative. Like, I would love to know if anybody wants to share what some of your selling strategies are. Mine is a multi-pronged approach where I talk about breeding plans, I talk about upcoming hatchlings, I make sure I maintain an email list with my previous customers, a wish list that people can get on. You too can get on a wish list if you see me pairing or breeding something that you're interested in, showcasing the snakes here on YouTube, as well as always maintaining my Morph Market presence, and always replying to any inquiry, whether anybody feels like a tire kicker or not. They get my full attention. Selling ain't easy. I got work to do. My 3rd lesson, and I gotta remember this. There's good news here, but I've gotta remember, odds can be brutal. Oh, they can be brutal. So one of my pairings last year was a het pied orange dream to a het pied, het albino normal female. Man, I was excited. I was gonna get orange dream pieds. I was gonna, I was gonna have my first visual pieds. I was so excited. I got 7 eggs from that girl. She did great. She bred. The eggs were healthy. I was so pleased. Come cutting day, all normal. Every one of them. Then arises the question of many questions, many subsets of questions. Het to het should have been with odds 25%. Almost 2 of those snakes should have been pied. Statistically, I know you can't have a partially pied snake. I guess, you know what I'm saying. So I was banking at least on 1 out of those 7 being a pied, and I got 0. So did I just miss the odds? Or, even worse, is one of my snakes not het for pied? And it's brutal to find that out, whether it's from the odds or as the result, because you gotta wait another whole year till you can retest and re-see. And then, what if one of them isn't? Ugh. So that's the situation that I'm in right now. The flip side is, the other pairing was a banana het ghost to a pastel clown, so the babies were all 100% het clown and 50% het ghost. But I did find that there's some other gene, at least one other gene mathematically, I think, but I think there's actually 2 just visually from what I can see with my own eyes floating around in those 2 snakes. So I got a little bit of a bonus there. I can't quite quantify what the bonus is yet, but I'm excited to continue to work with those animals. Again, I had to wait a whole other year to be able to. There is that. You get unexpected bonuses with the unexpected odds duds. There's great people in the community. Phil up at Finger Snakes BP. Phil just crushed it on a double visual. I think it was het to het. I don't know. He can comment. I'll have to look. He hit just a lavender clown. Boom. I mean, you talk to Phil, he's like, don't worry about odds, just throw them together, see what happens. There's always those out there. I'm hoping that this is the year that it comes back to me. So I made my sacrifice last year to the odds gods. This year, they're gonna come in my favor, right? Odds can be brutal. They always say, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Don't count your morphs and your genes and your odds before they hatch either. The number 4 lesson that I recalled is that I didn't forget this. I've been practicing it all year and really all along, but it's a good refresher and a good thing to recall is that your note keeping has to be on point. You've got to take copious notes. If you want to know what you have, if you want to know what your hatchlings are, you got to know what and when something was paired and explore all options and consider all options of those pairings. Secondly, if you're going to be selling your snakes, then you have an even higher level of accountability to your customers to be accurate in what you're selling. Furthermore, you have a responsibility to yourself not to jeopardize the integrity of your brand by selling something that isn't what you say it is, particularly when dealing with recessives. I use breeding spreadsheets with all of mine, and I keep all of those records. You all are more than welcome to them. If you want to email me, again, properroyals@gmail.com, you can email me. I'll share it with you. It doesn't cost you. I'm not going to charge you. But it's just an organized grid where you can drop in your females and then drop in your priority males and then keep track of when they were paired and did you see any visual locks. Remember, just because you don't see a lock doesn't mean it didn't happen, so don't discount that when you are checking out hatchlings or cutting eggs. But your note-keeping game has got to be on point. The other thing is after the hatch, I also track copiously who and how and when the snakes were fed. I include a feeding and care card with every snake that I sell, and it has their history of feeding, what they fed on, when, dates, all of that. I include that with every hatchling that I sell as well. And those I do by hand, but I'm actually going to type one up this year. I'm tired of writing all that stuff out. Keep your note-taking game on point. It's important to you and your customers and your animals. My 5th lesson is that all the little things add up. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever get bogged down. Don't ever feel like you could skip a step or that there's shortcuts, because there's not, man. And anything hard in life, there's not. Whether it's your education, your career, your family, all that stuff, you can't skip it. You can't take shortcuts. Same here. You got to clean. Your clean atmosphere is going to make your snakes healthier and more likely to breed comfortably. When you're prepping your egg boxes, measure your water and your vermiculite. Be sanitizing as you go. In my opinion, how you avoid the bacterial infections and the mold is to start with a clean workspace. Maintain your incubators, maintain your boxes. Be patient, leave those things alone. The less air contact they get, the less new bacteria goes into those boxes. Just my opinion, but that's strongly what I believe from a background in bacterial food safety. I've spent 25 years keeping people safe with what they eat. All the little things add up. All the note taking, all the quality in, quality out mindset, all the proper feeding, all the weighing, all the timing of when you paired them and bred them. It all pays off. Don't skimp. All the little things add up to huge, wonderful results. I'm so excited for this breeding season. I'm excited for you all as well. I want to see what you all have going on out there. So what did I miss? What lessons have I just totally glazed over in my beautiful, neatly packaged 5 lessons? Should it have been 7 lessons? What do you think I've missed on? Feel free to let me know. I always want to hear your feedback. Hey, keep it right here on the Proper Royals channel. This is where you can keep up with everything that we do. You'll get to see all these hatchlings, all these mamas when they give eggs. I'll keep you up to date on what I got going on this breeding season. I hope you'll do the same. Let me know where I can follow you and check you out. Thank you for watching today, and until next time, see ya!